Yes. Tell them why.
I'll tell them why. We're here with a book review because we are putting together our next phase of Choose Acceptance, which will focus on fear and the role it plays in choosing acceptance. I'm going to just keep talking even though she's doing that. So, to keep you satisfied and happy while we're busy putting together things surrounding fear and acceptance, we have a book review for you.
We do.
Of a splendid, wonderful book.
Arguably my favorite picture book ever, and I don't read picture books that often.
Now,
so
this
it's
is
a big deal.
This is a book that's been published already, so
Right.
you would think we don't have to leave out details, but haha.
We still will.
Yes. We want you to be surprised, and spoilers spoil it. So we're
Well,
not
yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you already know, you may not buy the book because what's the point?
we're not going to spoil things by spoiling it with spoilers.
Yeah, what she said.
Okay, what's the book? Boom. Dan Santat's After the Fall. Deets. With the deets. After the Fall by Dan Santat, published in 2017 by Roaring Brook Press. I have to say it like that because otherwise my tongue ties up. Don't laugh at me. Hit you with the book.
I'm trying to stop.
I win.
Oh, God.
This is already better. This is a book that we both really loved, and we couldn't find any cons.
No.
However, this one has an observation.
I have an observation.
Do observe.
So, for some of us like me, the ending may be confusing or unclear. I actually had to read a review to understand the ending, and then I went back. It's like the movie The Sixth Sense. And then I went back, and it all made perfect sense, and it made the ending tear at me in a good way, even more. I mean, it just made it... The books already was very visceral for me, and then reading the ending, understanding it, just made my heart soar.
Now, we're not going to tell you what the ending is.
No.
So you're just going to have to muddle through everything we're saying until you find a copy of the book of your very own, and then you can watch us again and see what we're talking about.
And it'll make sense, just
because
like the ending.
this is one of the books, you know, we would just be in so much trouble if we did that. Even though this has been out a while, to do that is just mean, and we're not mean people, so we're not going to do that.
Plus, we like Dan.
We do like Dan. I understand how, for grown-up people, the ending is a little bit elusive. I, however, am not at all grown up. I mean, I'm just kind of, the package I have to walk around in is grown up, and that's about it. So, and of course, you know, all the teaching I've done at very young grades and ages means that I'm a little closer mentally to, you know, things that are amazing and, you know, for kids that grown-ups have forgotten are amazing. So, I got the ending right away, but even if you get the ending with the first reading, it behooves you to read this book 2 or 3 times in
Tell 'em
rapid
why.
succession.
Tell 'em why.
But that makes it my turn.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, it's my turn. This book, and Annie's going to get into a whole lot of different reasons why this book is fabulous. For me, I love books with nuance, and this book, the illustrations are extremely nuanced. They not only complement the story, which Annie's going to get into, but they offer foreshadowing, they offer hints. The illustrations have these layers that you only catch on multiple readings. So little details, little word references, little like numbers and shapes and all kinds of things.
Yeah, show him one of them.
Show you things. So, for example, in the original Humpty Dumpty, all the king's horses and all the king's men, this is not your familiar Humpty Dumpty story.
This is not your mother's Humpty
This is
Dumpty.
not your mother's Humpty Dumpty. So, all the king's horses and all the king's men, no, all the king's doctors and nurses are at King's County Hospital, which is splendid because this is not the only reference to kings, and it's sprinkled throughout the book in illustrations, and I'm not going to tell you where they're located, and I'm not going to show you very many pages. Going to keep the mystery going. The book is full of these things. There are a very large number of kids who are going to, if you point out just one thing that's hidden in a book, they are going to take that book, as soon as you take it out of your grown-up hands, they're going to go off in some corner of the classroom with it, and they're going to start finding all the things that are hidden, and they won't talk to you or even look up until they find them all, and I've had a lot of students like that. I think I
Actually,
somehow subconsciously...
she did that before this review. She sat there quietly ignoring me and was like obsessed with the stuff she found and trying to figure out what it meant.
Maybe it's no accident that my students did that.
Yeah, maybe not.
Possibly could be my fault. Okay, I'm going to have some kind of problem here. Why don't you go with your things that you loved about this book while I try to figure out 27 years worth of programming kids to obsessively look at details.
Okay, so first of all, I had a very intense, visceral reaction to this book. I relate to Humpty Dumpty. Like him, I am challenged by anxiety. And in this book, Humpty is wrestling with a phobia, which is a form of anxiety. And what I love, Dan made Humpty very open, very vulnerable. He wasn't ashamed of his phobia. He just was sad that he had it, which I totally get. And anyone who suffers from any kind of challenge, whether it's physical or mental or financial or whatever it is, you'll get it. However, that's the hopeful part of the book. Dan's big tagline that I've heard him say all the time is about this book: life begins when you get back up. And that is very true, no matter what made you fall. So I love that it's so open and honest about mental illness, which is something that I think we need to take way out of the closet so that people can get treatment and their lives can get better, whatever that means to them. I'm not saying what that means. I love how he took a very well-known tale, Humpty Dumpty, and totally turned it on its head and gave it all this meaning. His whole thing was, well, what happened after Humpty fell? Because no one talks about it, really.
Yeah.
So that's became this book.
Thus the title.
Right, after the fall. So that was really neat. I love the art. I'm not as astute as Christina on seeing all the little things, although when she showed me, I got a little crazy too, so she does rub off on me. But just the art in general is beautiful. One of the things I was looking at was his use of perspective. So he could have done it reversed, right? We're looking up from Humpty's perspective. But by doing it this way, it looks extra scary up top, and poor Humpty looks very small. So perspective can make the difference in everything. As I said, I'm not a big picture book reader, but I used to be a lyricist, so I really appreciate the need to use very few words to convey a lot of meaning. And he does this in spades. I think for a picture book, it feels to me sparse, but every word grabbed my heart and was perfect for what it was doing. And I know how hard that is, so I bow down to you, Dan.
You know, this is a book that could suit so many people. And I don't know, I mean, ages?
I think, well, you said 5 and up.
Yeah,
But 5 to 105.
yeah, it's one of those books that really appeals to a lot of different people for a lot of different reasons. When I give age suggestions in our book reviews, I aim for the youngest age I think would pretty much get most of the story and or the illustrations for whom it would be appropriate and enjoyable. And so, of course, a younger child, you know, there's a lot in here a younger child, younger than 5, would get and enjoy, but, you know, a 5 or 6-year-old would definitely have enough life experience and experience feeling emotions that Humpty feels, that they would relate to the story and enjoy and get a lot out of it. But it's also one, just like Annie. Annie got a tremendous amount out of this book as a full-grown, whole adult,
Yeah.
as did I. Okay, I'm going to do this. Surprise bonus! Christina wants to know what books look like without their jackets on. It's not what it sounds like.
She wants to see the naked book.
The naked book. The sign of a treasure is what happens when you take the dust jacket off the book. And when you take the dust jacket off this book,
Whoa, I don't think I even knew that.
this happens.
He's falling!
And I am extremely happy to find treasures like this. We found it in books before. Not all publishers care enough to do that. Some, you know, most of the books, you take the dust jacket off and it's just this plain clothy thing. Very unexciting. But this, that's something. And then I look at the end pages. And when I look at, and this is the last time I'm going to show you something out of this book, don't even. Here is the front end papers. I don't know what they're called. And way in the background is Humpty Dumpty. I think possibly he's on the wall surrounded by birds. That's
Yes.
little tiny Humpty Dumpty.
They're really teeny birds,
Yeah.
though.
I'm not going to show you the ending, but it's different.
That was helpful.
I'm sorry, it has to do with the ending.
It's different.
Sorry.
Well, I mean, I hope it's different. It's the ending.
No, the end papers.
Well, but it's at the end, so
It's-
it should be different.
But a lot of books only have the same end papers. in both
Really?
ends. Yes, they
That's
don't do
wrong.
that.
That's wrong.
This book has a beginning of the story, beginning end papers, and an end of the story, ending end papers, which I can't show you, sorry.
I think it's wrong when they don't do that. But you know what? It's probably because Dan is such a well-known author that they'll give it that kind of attention.
It just contains multitudes.
Oh, can I say something?
Oh, yes.
All right, so I have a great idea.
Okay.
This needs to be carried in hospital bookstores or gift stores because think of it. You go in and you're visiting someone in the hospital for whatever reason, in any kind of hospital or rehab, whatever, and you bring this book and you read it to them and you leave it because it's so hopeful. I really think it will give most people a lift. Don't you think?
I really do. And the delightful thing about this, it is built from a very familiar nursery rhyme that multiple generations have heard. Even if they haven't heard the original Humpty Dumpty, this book stands alone.
I agree.
If they're old enough to be really familiar with the original Humpty Dumpty rhyme, this book has an extra layer. And depending upon what's going on with them personally, this book has even more layers, as we talked about. So run, don't walk. Get this book. Get these book, because we love this book, and you're going to love it too. Yes. Get your library, your independent bookseller, your big bookseller, your medium bookseller, whatever bookseller you've got. Borrow it.
Borrow it from your best friend.
Get it. Read it.
Buy it for your best friend.
Read it no fewer than 3 times. says I. 3. So, hopefully this will keep you satisfied until we get our next embodiment of choose acceptance ready to go.
Our next phase of the operation.
Phase of the operation. Yes. My friends, take care. And remember,
Choose acceptance.
subscribe. Take a ride with us.